Okay, let's see. We do have INDP again on watch. However, it definitely exceeded my expectations yesterday. This one really, really took off. It went all the way to 28.83. That's insane. I was watching it around 19 later on in the day. Then I saw it break 20, but I didn't think it had like much potential after that, after the 20 break. However, right after the 20 break, that's when it just really started flying. After 20, which is right here, which is around where I was watching, I was like, I was watching on this red candle here somewhere. And after that, it just immediately took off. And, I wasn't watching it, but it was pretty impressive, the move. Uh, I don't know. I would definitely not be in on it for sure. Like, I definitely wouldn't be up or in the trade around here. There was a lot of opportunity for sure, but I just know myself. Like, once it starts going that high and stuff, it's pretty unpredictable. Anything can happen. And just like it went up, it went all the way back down fairly dramatically as well. So, uh, what took a while to climb up just went down, not immediately, but it definitely went down pretty fast. So today on watch is the same one. We're going to be watching INDP to see if there's some sort of continuation. I don't expect there to be such a huge amount of volume in this one today, just because the daily is not looking the best. It can definitely go lower. However, pre-market it's been climbing you know fairly consistently. It's kind of sideways this entire time, but it's been climbing in the last hour or so. A lot more volume coming in pre-market. I'm just curious to see what it's gonna do. Once market opens here in about a minute. Other than that, we have PMCB. So let's see. Let's check this one out. This one doesn't look so bad. The daily doesn't look terrible or anything. It definitely has a gap fill here, so this one has a lot of potential. Not too sure if I'll trade it though. There is some volume pre-market, but nothing like super impressive except for this move here. Right now, I'm not really sure. I haven't checked if there's news on it. Uh, Let me see. Okay, they announced positive results of biocompatibility for FDA. So that's fairly good news. It just depends on how the market's gonna react to it. So we'll go ahead and keep this one on watch as well. But for the most part, INDP is on watch primarily. You also got Life. Life is a mover yesterday. I like this one for the daily high. If we can break the daily high, then that would look solid. It's pretty close, but then again, this one, not a whole lot of volume coming in, not a whole lot of action. So let's see. Let's go to INDP and see what this one's doing. So just like yesterday, it was kind of a choppy open. This one's still a little choppy. Kind of curious whether it's gonna, hold any levels or if it's gonna be selling off. How bad it was. With that huge spread. Oh my god. That's a huge spread. So we're kind of seeing the same amount of momentum as we did yesterday, which is really cool. Uh, Definitely a strong stock. So there, it just broke through 1350. Now it's at 1390, about to break 14. I'm curious of whether this is gonna sell off or not. Normally, like I said, I don't trade the first minute or so, but this looks like another one of those days, if I'm being totally honest. Don't want to take an entry here on a drop though. That's what I'm really nervous of. Is to see this thing just tank because after a huge thing yesterday, of course this one has a lot of eyes on it, but I just don't want to risk getting in and then it just you know tumbling over. It's holding 14 pretty well, just like yesterday. It's holding these levels and then it just surged right after. So we kind of have a sense as to what the stock likes to do, but not every day's the same. So let's just keep this on watch. Look for possible potential pullbacks such as this one. Dip below 14, definitely an entry I could have taken, but let's see what this wants to do here. Curious to see whether this keeps going lower or if it just because it's so weird and it shoots pretty low and then it just rides all the way back up and breaks a new high. It's really impressive. See if we get a 2 candle pullback here. Take a potential entry. I gotta be real tight on my stops though. Look at that spread, 1410 and 1430 for a second. So there's the break below. Could have bought that dip. I'm just not feeling it here. If it hits VWAP, I mean potentially an entry, which it just did. But the spreads were when it hit VWAP, it was 1320 by 1347, I think. So I don't know. This is what I'm kind of nervous about with this one. Like it had that huge ride up right now. Really good possible entry around the second candle. But now you just seeing one candle from 15 all the way to 13. That's a $2 drop there almost. So I don't know. This one's pretty tricky. Like I said, the daily looks like it has more room to the downside than it does the upside, and the 200 is still right there around 1680. Let's check out Sun L while we're watching that one. Sun L popping up here, but rejecting that level pretty strong, pretty badly. I mean, PMCB. This one's also rejecting Life. So Life for the daily high break. It still hasn't broke its daily high. We can keep this one on watch though. INDP. Let's go back to this one. Next 1 minute here looks pretty strong. So if I get in, okay, well, if I would have gotten in there, that would have been a really good entry. I should have just pulled the trigger instead of talked about it. And definitely would have held right there. That would have been a nice 150 bucks, just like yesterday. Same exact move as yesterday, actually. This one was holding this level. As you see, I drew a resistance line here. It's actually support now. And, it just made the exact same move it made yesterday. I just didn't take the entry here. Really regret that. I kind of want to see if this can finish high. If this can finish pretty high, then we could see a possible move back over 15 on the 5 minute. But this looks like it's going to finish low, unfortunately. I hope it can at least hold VWAP. I don't want to see this thing break lower than VWAP and, remain below it, because then that's kind of a sign that it's just done. As soon as it starts fading below VWAP, I mean, it's kind of really hard to get all the way back to high a day. It did it yesterday, though. It didn't. It broke below, I guess, the MACD as well as VWAP, I think, and then it just kept. Actually, no, I don't think it broke below VWAP. It did, cross the MACD and then immediately surge up. It was fading for a little bit, but this thing has a lot of momentum, a lot of volume in it. So let's see within the next couple minutes whether this can break the 5 minute high or if it's just going to be sideways and we're going to see it on the next 5 minute candle. There's 14. A lot of sellers stacked at 14. So I could have taken a quick scalp there as well. I don't like how it's not breaking 14 dramatically. In these candles over here, it broke immediately. Right here, this is what I would want to see. An immediate break. I would have hesitated most likely and sold early. So, right now, I'd say it's just kind of sideways. It's trading within this range of 1350, 1450. We just got to see if it's actually going to keep going or make a move like yesterday, or if it's just going to continue the sideways action for a little longer. There's 1360, 1480. Huge seller at 1480 though. Knocked out 15. See if we can get a micro pullback and I'll take an entry here. Immediately bought that dip. Wow. Gotta sell. I gotta sell out of that. Huge loss right there. And that was insane. Okay. Immediately stopped out. I couldn't hold it. That was a dramatic sell. Disgusting actually. I don't know what happened there. Could have bought the dip down here as well. Could have averaged in, but I thought I was buying the dip here at 14. You know, the break of 14. That's a pretty heavy resistance level that I was trying to, you know, I guess, or a support level. And obviously that turned on me immediately. So that, you know, completely puts me down 265 on the day. I'm pretty sure I'm done for today. I hit my max stop loss already. I'm not gonna risk, you know, trying to win it back. However, that was just, you know, really unpredictable move right there. Like, oh my god, that was insane. I didn't expect it to sell off that fast actually, but you know, it happened. So we'll keep this on watch though and see what it, I guess, has in store for us in the next couple candles. So while this one's, you know, settling down, doing its stuff, let's go check on some other stocks. RSI, SUNL. There's not a lot of volume in this one. Life was actually looking pretty good earlier for the daily high break, but it's kind of just fading. Not enough volume in it either. CLEU. This one's done. PMCB. Same thing. ATER. APRN. So, as good as yesterday was, you know, this move, this move sucks. I'll tell you that much. That was just super unpredictable. Nothing I could do. Like, try to stop out. I couldn't get filled. It was moving too fast. So, you know, it happens, and it's just something you got to deal with sometimes. So, I was trying to get in on a micro pullback. I didn't think it'd pull back that far. I actually pressed the trigger around 1440. However, I got filled below 14, which is, you know, thankfully I did. But even though I got stopped out at around 14, I mean, I had to, or even though I got stopped at around 13, you know, it's good that I got filled below 14, because if I got filled at 1440, forget that. That would have been like a $400 loss, I think. So I was up on the week, to down on the week, to up on the week, and now back down on the week. Still only down about $100, not a whole lot, but you know, it does suck that that was a really bad rug pull there. MDVL moving here. Back to life. HLBZ. HLBZ has pretty big spreads, 20-cent spreads there, 24-cent spreads. Not really something I'm interested in. TMC, fading off. Recent IPO, I guess. INT, same thing. Halted going down, huh? GWB. Okay. I'm not too sure if I can short INDP. I still think it, you know, it's pretty whippy. It could have, you know, upside potential, judging by the 5 minute, how the 5 minute goes. Looks more like it's gonna be towards the downside though. I mean, the 10 minute even looks pretty gross. Daily looks nasty. You know, huge red candle yesterday, massive sell-off, shooting star, and you know, two huge red candles here already. That's just this one red candle, like this one took some time to actually pull back. This one was just immediate. As soon as it, you know, opened at 1480, it bumped a little bit and then just completely tanked. So that was really nasty. And I thought I was buying the dip, but you know, buying the dip doesn't always work, and especially down here. I mean, it did bounce from 1280. I probably wouldn't even have got filled down there. It probably would have been filled at like 13. So 13 at 1350. I mean, that's a decent sized bounce, but it's nothing like you know what these moves were like from 13 all the way to 15. So I don't know. Really hard to say with this one. So right here's a good short entry, I'd say. Break at 13 is what I'd be going for. Huge buyer at 13 though. A lot of support right here. 220,000. Let's see if the short sellers can actually break through though. Because if that's the case, then you can definitely see this continuing to the downside. 5 minute looks like it wants to break lower. Same with the 10 minute. I think it needs a little more time. It has a bunch of support there. AGIL popping up on the scans. DNMR. It's just not a lot of volume in these. INDP. And I had a feeling today that I shouldn't trade this stock just because like what normally happens, especially after a big run like this, like sometimes the second day you can see some continuation or even a bigger move sometimes. But you know how low this one opened and what it did yesterday, that massive sell off. I mean, this is just kind of like a not a pump and dump, but it's kind of like hyped up, I guess, because it was the only one in the week that was moving that strong so far, at least. And you know, this one just really got me here. So I honestly didn't expect that. Uh, you know, massive candle that was just really uncalled for there. So here we can see it's trying to break back over VWAP. If it can break over 1350, then we could possibly see this continuing higher, but you know, it has to hold within this range. The next 5 minutes candle is going to open soon. If this can finish high, like I said, then it has potential back to the upside, but whether I really trust this one again or not, no idea. Because that was super unpredictable. I wouldn't give this another shot, that's for sure. The only reason I probably would is because of the MACD. If it continues to, you know, if it can possibly cross a review up somehow within this candle, then the MACD on the 1 minute at least is curling a little bit. So it would be pretty interesting to see what happens. Okay, so it's dropping again. So it finally broke 13, and now we can see this, you know, continuing to the downside over here on the 10 minute, 5 minute, and even the daily. So this can keep going lower, lower, lower. This is something I would definitely want to just buy and hold. I do think this has potential to actually curl back up to VWAP, maybe break a little bit, scare some short sellers out, and then, you know, continue fading. But I mean, that's just going to be like a small pullback. So MDVL. This one keeps popping on the scans, but it's too whippy for me, and there's already like a 7 cent, 8 cent spread here, something like that. It's, I don't know. I'm not really feeling this one. Life. So there's Life's daily high break. It broke by a couple cents. So the high here was 68, and this one was 75. So broke by 7 cents, nothing impressive, but it did ride all the way from about 920 all the way to 970 right there. So that was a pretty good move, and it was basically touching VWAP. So as soon as it touched VWAP right here, you know, it just took off. So that's a really clean move, nice move there. Just curious as to what stock the momentum's gonna be on now, because INDP is kind of just done. Bros, let's see, that's 44. So I can't even get in this stock, I don't think. ATER, coming back here, APRN, AERI, AGIL, PMCB. The only interesting one right now for me is Life at the moment. unless I can potentially short INDP, then I might get in. But like I said, I'm already over my max loss for today. I shouldn't continue trading because I mean, I'd just be breaking my rules at that point. So I honestly think I'm just gonna close up early today because I mean that was a disgusting loss. That was, you know, really really unpredictable. I didn't expect to see that. I was looking at the tape and or tape over here, time and sales, and I just see a ton of red go through. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh shoot, I'm screwed. And next thing you know, this thing drops, and I'm like, oh, okay, I buy, right? Drops and then continues lower and just lower, 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 and I panic out. So just like all these guys that panicked out or stopped out, same here. I didn't buy the top, thankfully. I was waiting for a pullback, but I didn't expect the pullback to be that strong, especially from how this one pulled back earlier. It was kind of slow to do it. It didn't even drop like a huge, huge amount. Like it did, but it didn't drop super bad. This one was a straight rug pull. Like this one just snapped. So, really, really nasty to see. And like I had mentioned earlier, I should have known better because, this one's pretty volatile for sure. But just judging by the daily setup pre-market, I was already kind of questioning myself, like, should I even bother taking this? Doesn't really look, super, super good. The only reason I convinced myself was because it started climbing pre-market about 30 minutes prior, so I felt this one had a little more potential. And, it did. It actually made a really solid move here. I could have gotten in on the second candle, could have gotten in on the fourth or fifth candle here for a potential move back up, and I would have made another 150 if I actually got in on this candle. But both times I didn't take the trade, and I look back at it like in hindsight, and I just totally regret it. But it's that's all right. So I think that's gonna be it for me today. Finishing down $265.46. Stock market for sure is risky. You can lose so much money. So you can tell here is 3 seconds that I lost this. Yesterday I made 136 in 7 seconds. So, this thing can be your friend, but also be your enemy at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and close it up for today. See you guys tomorrow.